What's up, gamers? It's your boy Boss Mac of back2gaming.com, and for today's video, yes, complete with the dramatic slow panning and stuff like that, we have the ASUS ROG Crosshair 6 Hero motherboard. This is their flagship X370 motherboard for their ROG line of products, the Republic of Gamers, and I think this is the only X370 in the ROG line right now. So let's zoom out to see the entire motherboard in action. And there it is. So first and foremost, we'll take a look at the box. So let's put this aside, and here is the packaging, which is done in the new design for the ROG series motherboards. There is a black slant something technological transformer design over there, and we have the model name right here. This is the Crosshair 6 Hero. Basically, the Hero motherboards are more of the essentials kind of motherboard. They have the most essential features, but not the high-end inclusions like water cooling and the BRM heatsink, stuff like that. And moving right along, we have some labels right here. The X370 chipset logo. This is socket AM4. We have Ryzen logo right here. This motherboard does support NVIDIA SLI, and it also supports AMD Crossfire, and the most important feature, it does support RGB via ASUS Aura Sync, so you can sync this with your other Aura compatible components like memory, graphics card, stuff like that. And this also supports 3D printed accessories, which we'll get to in a moment as we look at the motherboard. And we have at the side some other languages, and we have Crosshair 6 Hero right here, Crosshair 6 Hero right here, and the choice of champions. Alright, and at the back we have some detailed look at the motherboard, basically a map of the features right there, which we'll be going through in a bit later. So we have USB 3.1 front panel connector, Aura LED lighting all over the board, new Supreme effects. So as we've noted in the other motherboard review, the C270 ROG, what do you call that? Forgot which motherboard I took. Oh yeah, the Maximus 9 Hero. Yeah, so that's the one we took a look. We've taken a look at before, and it does also include the new Supreme Effects code. Like basically, they stopped using numbers because it started off with Supreme Effects 2, 3, 4, and they know what was going down, and they just stopped using it. So they just stuck with Supreme Effects, and yeah. So moving right along, yeah, this is what we mentioned with 3D printer print we support, so you can mount some cool 3D printed designs on this motherboard. ASUS does have a website if you want to copy their design, or if you want to download some other designs in the internet. As long as it's compatible with this motherboard, the dimensions are compatible, you can use it. So there you go, and we will start unboxing this package. Let's clean up the desk before we get started. And there we have the box again. So let's get started unboxing. And I really love this flip cover from ASUS. It's a nice reveal. So I don't know if you can see that right there. It really reveals the package inside. Just really nice. I don't know, I'm a bit of a sucker for this presentation way of presentation. It's really cool. Yeah, it's just a box. I'm a box collector. Nah. Anyway, so let's get started unboxing. So the first to greet us is the installation disc with the drivers and stuff, and there is the new the ASUS ROG logo. Oh my god, I mentioned MSI, and that's no problem because they're competitors, and they're both 3 letters, ROG, MSI, I don't care. This is the Republic of Gamers badge. The new badge does have, it's not like the shield logo from before. Let's take it out. And there it is. Right there. Appreciate. And moving right along, we have a discount code for custom cable mods right here. and I don't even know why I'm covering it out. I'm not even gonna use it. So there you go, freeze frame right there. So you get your free discounted cable mod. And we have a coaster for your gaming mugs and stuff. Join the Republic QR code. I don't know what this does. And I'm recording with my phone, so I can't scan it. So moving right along, labels. These are cable labels, which basically they're just using color notation. So you can write down the notes that you want, but be sure you use white or silver ink, otherwise it won't show. So those are cable labels, and we have the manual right here. Is it multilingual? Nope, it's a really lengthy thick manual booklet stuff. So moving right along, we have other accessories over at this compartment. We have the RGB cable right here. This is a single cable. Yes it is. We have one, please two. We have one pair and another pair of SATA cables, and underneath that, oh, let's save that for later. Put this aside right here. And in this compartment we have the SLI HB bridge. This is one of the basic HB bridge, but it's really nice that ASUS is including these in the package, even though this is an AMD motherboard, but it is still an NVIDIA SLI compatible motherboard. We have the easy header for your front panel connectors. We have a 3D printing mounting screws and more screws. I think this is for the M2 slot right there, or it's the same. I don't know. You can probably use that in the 3D mounts as well. And we have the IO shield done in black and no lead headers. So finally we take off this last part, and we have the giant sticker bed or whatever, and it's a really nice inclusion. I've already taken a look at these before. It's really cool that ASUS is including these things. It's a really nice way to design, I mean to stylize some of your possessions. That's a nice sticker passport right here. It's really large. And yeah, anyways, that is it for the bundle, and we will move on to the motherboard. And here we have the ASUS ROG Crosshair 6 Hero motherboard that we will take a look in detail. But first off, let's Oh, I know some people really cringe when I do that, when I slip the motherboard around the disk. Yeah, let that sink in. Anyways, I'm kidding. Anyways, that is the ROG Crosshair 6. Appreciate it. It's really cool looking motherboard from this. So let's go on to the closer look portion of our board. I'm gonna keep the box in there so we know what board this is. So here is the motherboard, the Crosshair 6, and it's really good looking motherboard. Once again, for those asking, where is the AMD cooling bracket, the mounting kit? It's not included. This is how do I put this? So the review samples that AMD has sent out has the Noctua U12 whatever cooler pre-installed. So those are already mounted in here, and they removed the original cooling mounts, which is not visible in this video. So yeah, I hope that explains it. So first off, okay, since we're already talking about the cooling, let me talk about why the holes are like this. So basically, let's focus on that. And basically what ASUS is doing here is right there. Basically what ASUS is doing is they went with an AM4 socket and they went with an AM3 socket mounting holes to get and just work its way into this motherboard. So it's compatible with AM3 and it's compatible with AM4, which really gives you that flexibility when you're upgrading. Like if you still have your older coolers, like some really older coolers released from last year. You can use it with these. Then you can go ahead and talk to your cooling vendor. Hey, I need an AM4 mounting bracket for my cooling, and they'll send it if they offer it. So there you go. So you have the option of using both AM3 and AM4 mounting brackets and on this motherboard, which is really cool. This is the only motherboard out right now, I believe, with that option, and this makes it a really viable option if you're just starting out, if you're upgrading, and you really want to go the Ryzen route, because it offers like so much more performance for less money than the HADT processors from Intel. So zooming out, you take a look at this side of the motherboard, and these are the power paces. I believe these are, yeah, there are 12 paces in this motherboard, and they are cooled by these heat sinks. They're not as dense as I would like, but being a hero motherboard, I think it's just all right. They're not what do you call this? I really prefer the denser ones. It's not really a preference, more like the denser they are, the more heat they can like dissipate. So for me, as I'm an overclocker, I do want that kind of like tolerance, like it can endure so much more heat and yeah, stuff like that. So but that's just me. So what I really like about the heatsink though is the design right there. So ASUS has really been going all out in their design. They have been doing all these toolings, all these panel lines on their motherboards, on their heatsink, on their shroud, and I think it's really cool. For some people, they might not like it. They might want the more simpler design. There are motherboards for that kind of taste, but for me, I think it's cool, and I like the way that they steered away from the red and black theme. It has been so overdone in the past few years, and this is a nice way to really go in a more simpler direction. As you can see, the motherboard looks really busy. There are a lot of components on the board, like resistors, capacitors, ICs going on all over there, and there are PCB prints that really break it out. Really adds to the busy, noisy nature of the board. It does not look sucky in any way. So moving right along, we have the DIMM slots, evenly spaced, which is really cool, and I really like how they pulled that off, because I really emphasizing on really, and as a personal thing, I don't like really the ones that use like stuff in between or thicker slots. I don't know, that really turns me off. So over at the top we have 3 fan headers right here, and we have one for the AIO. I think that's been the thing lately. Some of the board brands have been including a dedicated AIO pump connector, which is really cool. And moving right along, we have a debug display right here, and over at this side we have the USB 3.1 right there. Let's zoom in. We have the USB 3.1 header over here. We have another fan header over here. We have a total of 8 SATA ports, which is really cool, because I don't know if you're I recently talked to a guy, one of our readers. I said, why do you need 10 SATA ports for? I don't know, I just have a lot of hard drives. And well, I mean, I used to be that kind of guy, but I'm stuck with like 6 terabytes now, and I'm fine with it. But I guess some people still want like 10 drives in their system, so you have 8 for this one, so you really still go all out with a lot of drives. But yeah, if you want 10, there are other boards for that. Yeah, so moving right along, we have I think this is for a dedicated water pump. If you're water cooling, zoom in right there, just all right. Then we have the front panel headers, connectors right here. We have the RGB header over here, and more front panel headers. So this, the USB 3.0 front panel header is over here. We have the ROG extension. So the accessory to use these are not included, but it's there. So that means, I mean, right here. So you can see that this is the ROG extension header. So this is compatible with the Maximus, the Extreme header. So I'm pretty sure they would probably release a Extreme version for AMD, but maybe it's in the still in the drawing board, or probably be released when Threadripper comes out. But yeah, moving right along, we have the front panel, I mean the onboard buttons right here. So we got the power button, which is says start. I don't know, I don't like the word start on a power button, maybe because I use it a lot to like do maintenance. Anyways, we have the reset button right here, safe boot, and retry button. So if you're having problems booting up, you can play around with those buttons. And oh, we have the LN2 switch right here. So if you're overclocking, you're using LN2 cooling, you can pop this to on, and it will drop the frequency to a very low speed, just enough so you can boot up to Windows or the operating system, and then pop it to off, and then we'll surge back to whatever frequency you have. So we're moving right along. Here is the Supreme Effect solution, which is isolated from the rest of the motherboard, and we have a shroud right here. Oh, one thing to note, this is using right there, I don't know what is this, hair. It's hair, it's my hair, I'm sorry. And we have, I think these are, yeah, let's just say it's Japanese audio capacitors. It's really hard because there's like Nichicon and Nippon Ichi capacitors, and it's hard to tell from this angle because the label are really small. And yeah, it's Nichicon. It's Nichicon. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? No, you can't. So, and yeah, take a closer look at the PCIe slot. Those are reinforced PCIe slot, and they're not just there for show. Those are not just slabbed in there. They are like reinforced at the back. So as you can see, they are soldered in place. They are not like slotted in and then held tight by the PCI connectors. I mean, these little solders right here, it's held on right there, soldered in place. Oh, sorry about that, I bumped the camera. And we take a look at the IO ports, which is, we have the reset button and a BIOS. I think this is flashback button, and there is an M2 PCIe slot right there, an E key slot. So basically, if you have a Wi-Fi device, you can put it in there and basically make this motherboard Wi-Fi compatible. A lot of USB 2.0, 3.0 ports, 3.1 Type C right here, and the audio connectors are right here. So there you go, those are your IO connectors, rear IO, and that's the rest of the motherboard. So if you want to see the RGB at work, we'll do a separate video on that. And one thing I like about the new implementation of Aura is its cross compatibility, and a lot of new memories with RGB lighting are compatible with Aura, which really, if you're into that kind of thing, it's really nice to have because it syncs with the entire motherboard. And yeah, I guess that's it. Time to close it out. And after using this motherboard, I have to say it's one of the most actively updated BIOS amongst all the brands. I mean, ASUS has released a new BIOS just a few days ago, and it helped out in stabilizing DDR4 3000, because from every review I've seen in the release of Ryzen 7, a lot of people were having problem in the BIOS not supporting DDR4 3000 stably. Everyone was stuck at DDR4 2667 and 2800, stuff like that. And me, I have DDR4 3000 that came in the review kit, and I want to use that. And when I tried it out, it only works with one stick, and I want to use it on dual channel because I want to see how multi-channel works in this motherboard, and I had to wait it out. So I'm just releasing a few of my reviews just this month because I want the BIOS to be perfect, I want the software to be optimized, and I want the games to be optimized. So AMD does not come at me and say, well, the results are poor because we're not optimized and all of that stuff, and I don't want to hear any excuses. I want performance. So yeah, do I like this motherboard? Hell yeah, the PCB print, the features, it's Well, yeah, for me, I can afford the higher end the higher end ROG motherboards. But yeah, if I'm just jumping into the Ryzen for the performance and I want a motherboard that really what do you call this, that really named after quality, ASUS ROG is the way to go. There are other boards out there that would probably last the same, but if you're really confident with ASUS, this is definitely the only board in the ROG family that you can get, and I can definitely recommend it. So yeah, a lot of other features that we miss out. The looks is really doing it for me. It's really nice to look at. It's simple, minimalist colors. It's not gaudy with all that stuff. RGB on this board is like really basic. There's a lot. Some of the parts are lit. This one and underneath the logo, and not the entire back, which is really fine for me. There are 3D printed accessory support. If you want some style in this motherboard, you can do that. And yeah, it's clean, it's usable. There are not nifty features. Overclocking is good. Our chip is really bad at overclocking anyways, but I managed to do a bit of OC, get it up to 3.9, which is enough for me. And yeah, the one thing about this motherboard is basically the build quality is really good. So that's it, and I will put this down for one more appreciate view right there. Appreciate. And this has been your boy Boss Mac of BackToGaming.com. If you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to comment the video, like the video, and subscribe. Peace.